What's the dumbest way you've managed to get laid? Story 1. So I just picked up my dog from Petco after getting him groomed and ran inside to pay my bill and pick up some dog treats. The girl at the register was clearly having a bad day. We chatted up a bit, and she explained she just got dumped by a guy over a tattoo. I told her that I was having a shit day too, and if she wanted to give me a call after she is off, and I'll buy her a beer. Later that evening she sent me a text asking if I wanted to see the tattoo she got dumped over. I said yes. She then sent me a picture of a pair of wolf paws tattooed on her tits. I just responded nice, and she then asked if I wanted to see them in person. I just sent her my address, and about 20 minutes later I had some very awesome rebound sex. Story 2. My friend was at the club, and he's the kind of guy that doesn't go to clubs at all. He saw a girl on the dance floor he liked, and we all told him he should go talk to her. He went down, and 10 minutes later we see him walking out the club with the girl he liked. We were all shocked he got a girl the first try. The next day we asked what happened, and he told us he just complimented how good her belly button looked. We all laughed our ass off. Story 3. Friend had passed out at my house after a party. Next morning, she asked to take a shower before headed home. Sure. After water running, she's naked. She asked me to come help her with the temperature. We're good friends. I'd seen her naked before, so it was odd, but I'm no prude. I help her out. 2 minutes later she asked if I have an extra toothbrush. She's still not in the shower yet. I hop to it, grab her one. She looks me square in my stupid face and says, "So, do you want to have sex or no?" I pause, look back at her and gather myself. Me. Yup. Story 4. A girl I met in class was lost for her next class. Showed her the way and got her number, if she gets lost again. We parted for the day. She was pretty, so I ran the story to my roommate. Roommate decided to play a dumb joke by sending her a message saying that I miss her already. She texted her dorm address. Brought some food, but she wanted to do something else. That was it. LOL. Story 5. My buddy used to try to do this thing at the bar where he would dance his butt into girls and hope they'd start dancing with him. It never worked even one time. But one time I was standing on the edge of the dance floor, and he was trying to do it to this girl, and she grabbed onto me and pulled me into her, and whispered in my ear, "Pretend to be my boyfriend," so that my friend would go away. My friend left, and I danced with her all night, and then spent the rest of the weekend with her. Story 6. Atched with a chick on Bumble. Her, I'm not Rapunzel, but I'd let you pull my hair. Me, I feel like I'd be better equipped to make a witty comeback if only I'd seen Tangled. Her, go ahead. I'll wait. Me, is it on Netflix? Her, it is. Me, wanna come over and watch it with me? Her, sure. So like an hour later she showed up at my place, and I put Tangled on, but I was balls deep in her before the first number was over. The joke's on her though. I'd totally seen that movie already. Story 7. A woman at my job said that my feet were sexy. I was wearing sandals. I said okay, thanks. Before our workday was over she asked if I wanted to go to her place. I was like sure, thinking this was just a social visit. We get to her place and she says, "You need to shower." I was like, I'm okay. I took a shower, and she steps in as well, and from there on we had lovely sex, but she was indeed into feet, and spent a lot of time sucking my toes, which I learned that day did nothing for me. Story 8. Met a girl. Asked her out to dinner. She agreed. Few nights later we are out. As we are concluding dinner I tell her the dessert at this restaurant sucks, but I have some better dessert at my place. I was being sincere, as I had some homemade dessert a coworker's so had made me recently, and it was delicious, still some of the best fudge brownies I've ever had, and I had some vanilla ice cream to pair with it. We go back, and she asks to use the bathroom. I go to the kitchen to prep dessert. I soon hear her call my name from the bedroom. Bedroom was connected to bathroom by closet, which I found odd. Walk in, girl is very naked and in a position of preparedness for lack of a better term, and I'm standing there dumbfounded with a big bowl full of brownies and ice cream with 2 spoons. The sex was great, and the Brownies afterward were bangin'. By far one of my more eventful evenings. Story 9. A Tinder match said I looked like Seth Rogen. She invited me to a hangout. When I got there, she told me that if she could have sex with any celebrity, it would be Seth Rogen. And I laughed. She then introduced me to a couple of her friends, and she asked them, if I could F***K any celebrity, who would it be? And they both said Seth Rogen. And I was a close enough second. Story 10. My friend texted me saying she got a flat tire and doesn't know how to change one. Asked her where she was, and it was a 10-minute drive from my place, so I headed over to change her tire. She was hot AF, but I never made a move cause 19-year-old me believed the whole "she's out of my league" thing, and she was 2 years older. We met through mutual friends. Anyways, I told her it's all good, you can drive back home now. She said no, sit in the car, let's get you cleaned up, confused. And I said, it's fine, I can just go back home, it's no biggie. She said just sit and chill for a bit. Next thing I know, we were making out, and she got on top, and I liked car sex ever since. Sadly though, that did ruin the friendship months later, and we just ended it. Story 11. I was hanging out with a friend and she suggested we watch Up after hearing I had never seen it, without warning me that it was sad. I started bawling during the married life scene and she paused and asked me if she could do anything to make me feel better, and I joked I didn't even think an orgasm could make me feel better after that. We had been joking about masturbating earlier, and it made sense at the time. She said, wanna find out? To this day I cannot watch that movie without being both sad and horny. An orgasm did make me feel better though. Story 12. I walked up to an older woman in the bar and said, you look lonely, can I sit here? She bought me a drink. After 2 quick drinks we went back to her place for more drinks. Her friend was literally 15 minutes late and missed us. I ran out of condoms. It was probably some of the best sex of my life with the horniest girl. We did it like 8 times. I never got her number or anything, which is really sad cause I'd be back there every Sunday with wine and chocolate. If your name is Maria, this sounds like you hit me up. If your name is Maria and you have 4-year-old, don't hit me up because I'll probably give you another. Story 13. A girl who lived in the dorms asked me for some help with putting together a paper for one of her classes. She already had it written. I just typed it up on my computer for her so it would be presentable. Took me some time to do it, during which she just lay in my bed. When I'd finished, she didn't feel like going back to her room and asked if she could stay in mine. We lived in different dorm buildings. We spent most of the night curled up with each other. At some point I felt her take my hand. I had an arm around her. It was more comfortable for me that way, and place it on her breast. I pulled it away, but a few minutes later she put it there again. It ended with us having sex, and mixed feelings about it. We didn't use protection, and I already knew she was seeing someone else. He lived next door to me, and was literally on the opposite side of the wall where my bed was. And stupid, inexperienced me didn't pull out. Story 14. My boyfriend is, in general, an awful guesser at things. Like to the point that it's a running joke. During a holiday his job had this jar of candy where you'd guess the number of individual bits. I visited him at work one day and he asked me if I wanted to guess. I agree, he says. Can we make it interesting? And I'm like, sure. So I agreed that if I won he'd take my car in for an oil change and tune up, which I just hate doing, and if he won I'd let him do, insert kinky sexting here, thinking, this idiot is an awful guesser, I've got this in the bag. Anyways, so this motherf is the one who put the candy in there. I am stupid. He still took my car in, by the way, and I didn't have the worst time ever. Story 15. Back when hot or not was a thing. Some girl messaged me, we chatted for a minute. Didn't really take it seriously. I was early 20s and doing pretty okay. Meeting people from the internet was kinda weird. She asks what I'm doing for the night. I said I'm going to the grocery store. She says, like all night or? I said, take it or leave it. So she met me at the grocery store. We walk around and chat while I compare price per ounce. She helps me take my groceries home and inside. We bang it out. I make dinner and we get back at it. Wake up in the morning and have breakfast. Then I make breakfast. We dated for the summer. Horse girl, fantastic thighs. She was cool. Story 16. Some girl I hung out with had an older sister who was a true, majestic 10/10 but 6 years older than me. I would flirt with her all the time but never even got close. I was a senior in high school, so I kind of expected it. One night I saw her at a club and she ended up needing a ride home with all her friends before Uber days. Her house was the closest, so I dropped her off first. About 2 minutes after the last girl was dropped off, she texted me asking if I could come back real quick to kill a giant spider in her house because she was freaked out. I drove back. At this point I was sort of hoping she was lying to get me to come over. But she led me to her bedroom and lo and behold, showed me a fucking giant spider. I killed it. But then threw a Hail Mary and said, "You know, if there was one, there's probably more," and joked with her that I should stay so I didn't have to waste gas when the rest came out. She laughed, so I said, "Did it work?" Within 30s we were having the craziest sex of my life. Story 17. My friend introduced me to his friend who was this hot atmosphere model, the girls who get paid by brands and clubs to go hang out in pools and parties to promote stuff. We never went on a date, and our texts were dry. She was clearly not into me. She'd leave me on read for days, then reply out of nowhere because she was bored. LMAO, she'd make fun of me and be really rude, then ghost me. Then one night she texted me at like 3 a.m. and I had enough. I was acting like her and being obnoxious. I was like, this isn't going to go anywhere, so I'm just going to be a dick like she always is to me. But for some reason that did it for her. She came over and we had sex. Like, I still have no idea how it even happened. Story 18. In college, a few girls were over just hanging out with my roommates and I, one of which I was interested in. We had a few sips of liquid courage and were having a generally nice, no mischief kind of night. Eventually the booze kicked in. Me, okay, who wants to play a game? Everyone, okay, sure. What do you have in mind? Me, who wants to have sex with our carryout? Girl I like, I do. So we did. My roommates were shocked that actually worked. Story 19. I was hammered at a bar once and said to a girl, as a joke because I was too drunk to think of anything else, "Nice shoes, wanna fuck?" She looked me up and down and said, "Hell, I'm bored and you will do." 10 minutes later we were back at her place with me very confused about how that had worked. No one has ever believed me when I have said this story, and to be honest I do not blame them. I swear 90% of the time I have gotten laid was from me doing something stupid, or saying something stupid which somehow has worked out for me. I did see one of my mates pick up a girl once by going, "You know how some guys compensate for the size of their dick by having a huge car? Well, I don't even have a car." I went round to his place the next morning and the girl left muttering to herself saying, "Well, he did lie about having a car." She probably imagined someone hung like Lexington steel and not your average white guy, ha. Story 20. In college, a girl I knew was celebrating her birthday at an ice skating rink. She invited me to go and her boyfriend offered to drive. She introduced me to a new friend of hers and she and I had to sit next to each other in the back seat of a very small economy car. For the first 30 minutes she seemed like she didn't care if I lived or died. I was fine with that. But then she suddenly started talking to me. We got to the skating rink, and she was talkative and flirty. She was very cute. One thing led to another, and in less than a week we were in bed. The first time we finished having sex, I asked her, "What happened? I didn't think you were interested in me, and then all of a sudden you were. What changed?" She said, "Remember when we were stuck in the car? You folded your arms and your left hand under your right arm accidentally touched my left breast, and it felt great." That was it. I accidentally touched her breast. I didn't even know it happened.